Morning, Carol.
Right. Oh,
No swearing now.
right.
Please.
Promise you.
No
Come
naughty
on, Paul. We can't see you.
I know. He hasn't turned me on yet.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so
I
sorry.
shouldn't have
Morning, Gordon.
put that up.
Here he is. Cups of tea ready.
Right.
My weird crisps.
Oh.
Oh, what are they?
Oh,
Garden green. Oh, where did you get those from?
At the garden.
Rogers.
Pardon?
Rogers.
Oh, none
You
of the
know what-
boys. No.
Oh. It's a sort of a place. It's on the Chalwyn Industrial Estate near Rivitas,
Oh, right. Okay.
and it's like a big sort of unit, and they sell all either sort of close to date or best before
Oh,
food.
right. Oh, I see. Mm.
And these were, I don't know when they were best before. Oh no. Oh yeah. 15th of April,
I
Oh,
did that.
2022.
I did.
Last year.
last year.
last year.
I've
I
had
do
them for ages because you buy a box of them, that's 24 packets.
All right.
I do a similar thing when as you know, when I go over to Mel's dad's.
Yeah.
I still got the cream egg that
Oh,
I stole.
you're saving that for Easter.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's on my desk. I think no, it's wrong. But this weekend, no, when did I go? Yeah, Saturday I was over there. Ta-da!
Oh, matchmaker.
Ooh.
Box of matchmakers. Well,
Oh,
they've been there.
lovely.
I've been eyeing them up since Christmas.
Mm.
And I said, Mel goes, what are you doing? I said, well, it says best before 0223.
Oh,
And no one's opened them over there yet. So I'm thinking, well,
you best eat them now then.
I best sort it out.
Yeah, lovely.
And this is online, isn't it? Oh my God, it's all coming out.
Yeah, I should be quiet. I should be
Yeah.
quiet what you say.
It was an orange. These are orange matchmakers, and there was a Terry's all orange, chocolate orange that had been raided but not finished off. So I thought, well, I better look after that, and
Not to.
Yeah.
well, I think that's a good thing to do, don't you? Go over there because it's got a big table like this, and it's got all lots of tucker on it.
Oh, wow.
So I tend to pick things up, and if it's about best before or just about due, I'll just borrow it, take it home.
Yeah. Oh, he probably doesn't even miss it.
Oh, it's a funny one. I'll show you. Hang on, I've got to show you this. Where is it? No, I can't do it. Maybe. Hang on, because it's on Facebook. It's just a photo. Hang on. Copy image. If I stick it in there, that'll work. All high-tech stuff here. Right, go back to there. Yeah, share this image. Oh, my mate, the old drummer in the band, sent me this one. He said, look at that. So I was chasing this Russian security balloon down the road 35 miles before I realised it was a lump of bird poo.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
That's the good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not often that you get one that was, yeah, I like that. I think we're having an early lunch today.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I've got.
he's got a plan. Have you?
Well, in theory, we should be able to knock this out in next to no time. But as I said in the thing, it's a warm up for next week. It's
Oh.
Joyce. Woohoo! Hang on.
Hello, so Joyce.
She's there.
Sure.
I'm here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi.
Just come on,
Mm.
yeah.
Settled nicely?
Sorry.
Are you settled in nicely now?
Yes, we're gradually getting there. Yes.
Yeah.
Still got boxes to unpack. They seem to go on forever.
Yeah. Oh,
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's feeling like home, which is good.
Oh, good. Good. Did you
Sure.
say it was St Margaret's?
Merrick.
No, St Valerie. St Valerie.
What's the name of the block though?
It's South View.
Oh no. Sorry, I was trying to remember, wasn't I, where my friend lived, and that was in St Margaret's in St Valerie Road.
Oh right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She lived
Ma-
there.
Don't know much yet. Just managed to get to the park the other day for a walk, which is very nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
So have you
Far
gone
to
back
go.
into another flat, or have you got a house?
No, we've got a flat,
A flat.
larger
Yeah.
than the other one,
All
and
right.
got a balcony as well,
Oh,
which
lovely.
very
nice.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a bit of outside space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and there are nice grounds round about as well. So yeah, it's very pleasant.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
These
Have you met-
two.
Have you met all the neighbours yet, or it's a bit slow?
My husband has. I haven't.
Oh, right.
I keep saying that out of all the time we've been here, and I've used the lift every time I've gone out, and I've only once actually had to share the lift with somebody.
Oh, gosh.
So I don't know where everybody is.
Oh,
But
Try
hey,
the stairs.
yeah.
Try the stairs.
So
Go up and down the stairs a few times.
not with my knee at the moment. I can't. But that's another story.
Oh,
I know Mel's getting a stair lift put in here
Ah,
because our stairs are quite steep.
Mm.
Surprising, you know.
Mm.
It took quite a while to get, you know, to break over that barrier of fear of going up and down those stairs because he's only little and it's sort of, you know,
Mm.
it was a bit
Oh.
steep. So, but I must admit, my knees ain't what they used to be. That's a result. My knees ain't what they used to
no.
be. Same as all the other bits, really.
I think we're all
I found a
falling.
knife in the park this morning. I was just saying to Mel, because me and Frodo, when we go out for our morning walks, we're wombles.
Mm.
We just pick up all the litter. And
Oh.
today it was a kitchen knife on the seat on the bench.
Crikey.
Mm.
Now, it was one of the food knives, so it's not a pointy
No.
one. But
Even so.
Yeah.
I picked it up and I'm walking along the park thinking, hey, hang on, somebody across the road's going to see the cops. There's some old guy with a knife, help. It's a funny morning. I nearly got a van nearly smashed into me
Oh,
when I was turning left.
gosh.
Decided he wanted to come out of the lay-by a bit too soon, and I just got whoa.
Oh, gosh.
Luckily, because I was turning left, so I had to go right out and back. And luckily, there was nobody coming down the road that I
Mm.
was turning into, but there were two people walking across. So
Gosh.
that shook me up a bit.
Not
It's only till afterwards, isn't it? At the time, you're like, yeah.
bad.
But as you get further down, you think, oh, blimey,
Mm.
That was
that could have been
close.
a bit dodgy.
Mm.
Never mind, we made it.
Good.
Mm.
Today, yeah, as I was saying, today's is what's the word? A simple subject.
Oh, yeah, they all are.
We've heard that one before.
Mm.
Well, I thought because the one coming up next week is one that I've put off for years.
Ooh.
No, I genuinely, it's Weymouth Harbour. I always see other people's pictures of it and admire them. Think, yeah, well, maybe, but oh
Lots of
well.
boats and buildings.
Yeah. So I don't know why I had the notion of saying, if we do a simple, straightforward boats, you know, a nice paddle up the river job first, it'll set us off, but I'm not so sure. Well, I think maybe it's a relax before the storm.
Yeah.
These monkeys were brilliant, weren't they?
Mm.
Gorillas. I saw this one's Anne's, I think. Yeah, I saw on one of the free reference picture sites. I found another one on Facebook. It's brilliant. They had silverback gorillas.
Oh.
God, you wouldn't want to mess with one of them. Talk about. I was lying in bed pontificating. What would happen if a silverback gorilla met a polar bear? Who would? I don't think a polar bear would be too enamored with that somehow. Because them silverback, they are big. They
What
look
kind
like,
of gorilla was that one that we painted then?
I don't know. It's just a normal loss. What do you call it?
Being a female.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. I don't know.
No.
What's that?
No, I thought we had quite
Is a normal Planet of the Apes gorilla. It's not definitely not a silverback. They're so distinct. They've got hair that comes up like an African. Some of those African guys, they have their hair go up like that. And it's like that, and it's all silver in the back of it. Oh my! I'll have to do a bit of research. Look at that one. Who's that? Carol Wellman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Some of these-
fierce expression.
Some of them they almost make you want to cry. You want to go and give them a cuddle.
You guys.
Then you
Oh,
realise what it is, and you think probably best
perhaps not.
got the strength of 20 people. One hug from that, and you'll be matchstick. You'll be mush. Very good, Carol.
Thank you. I enjoy doing that. I like doing animals.
Well, I've got some. So I found a new reference site now. Chrissy's is bright and cheerful.
Yeah, that's Chris's. We always know yours. That's nice.
Should
That
probably
was
say-
using those powder paints.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Ink Tents,
Russia.
Brusho.
Right, yeah.
Well, for that's really good because that stuff is fierce, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I sort of, yeah.
It stains as well. You can't take it out, can you, very well?
No, it was, just take a chance and chuck it on.
Wearing full PPE.
Yes. Definitely wearing gloves, that's for sure.
Very good.
It's still come up a lot brighter on the screen than what it is in real life, though.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably the cameras do that. It all depends where you photograph it and what time of day and everything.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Oh.
Tail on the nose and everything.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, the emphasis is on doing it with, that background and not taking it too serious. Gordon's looks really
Mm.
Has a dramatic effect on you, that,
Mm.
that monkey.
Yeah. He said, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
You're looking at.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or is it sort of like, excuse me, can you shut the door, please?
Mm.
Can't get any privacy these days. Well done, though.
Mm.
But I think one of the things that came out of it, I remember saying about it at the time, was not to get bogged down with the fur element. You don't need to draw every hair. Sort of just use the edge of the brush, and it infers it's there, and it does work. And putting the highlights in. Did anyone else use one of these pens? Anyone else got one?
Mm.
I bought 2 more.
Mm.
Liquid chalk. I haven't opened these ones. I'm quite pleased about them. And what I like about them is they don't you can meld them in a bit, and they soften down really well. That's tarpaulin, right?
That's
Mm.
good.
They're all lovely.
I think they're all good. Yeah, they've all captured the look, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think the body was the hardest because
Yeah,
there's no shape to it, really, was there?
yeah.
Apart from a bit of a shoulder. There's so much detail in the face, and the body looked a bit of an afterthought.
Mm.
That's the one that started it all off.
Yeah.
Skunk. He's been looking at me all week. Put him on the easel over there. I even went and cut a new mount for it.
Oh.
Yeah, well done, you lot.
Mm. That one's nice. I like that.
You can't. If there was
He looks really old.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Mm.
feel, Chris.
Oh dear.
Me and you for both. I've stopped eating peanuts. I think they might be hurting. Might be the source of. Go through periods and you think, oh, bloody ache all over. Must be something I'm allergic to. Is today's little beastie. Oh God, where am I going? Oh, share. I've got pictures of little windows all open all over. Oh, it looks fairly. I blew it up and thought I'm going to tease it down. And what could be flipping difficult about a boat and a few trees and a bit of water, eh? So I thought, oh, that's the panoramic view. I'm not so sure about that. As I say, it seems straightforward, but the details in the is how much we can put in the background, isn't it? And how we're going to affect it. That's a lot of green.
Mm.
Can we not do a sky? Just a little bit of green.
Up to you. There's no reason why not. Could sort of. Why do you keep putting ideas in my head? It was your fault. It was your fault the boat came in the first place.
Oh, was it?
You said something about boats either
Oh.
last week or the week before. Must have been the
Oh
week.
yeah, I said mine wasn't very good.
So that was thought, oh, maybe we ought to have a boat,
Have a boat lesson.
couple of boat sessions. Oh dear. Now you've swayed me for. Suppose you could put get rid of those one. Oh no, I'm going to stick with the theme. I think it. We'll have a laugh. If the video's working. Oh yes. I used some masking fluid. didn't have much choice really, because if you're going to do that, change my microphone. Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. Don't know why. There you go. Yeah, I'll change my microphone. So
Can you see that picture?
No, not. It doesn't come up on the big screen, so it
Yeah,
can
my-
just about
oh,
make out it's a boat. Yeah.
But it has
So
on mine.
That's my brother's. That's my brother in his boat.
Oh right.
I just thought it looked so familiar. I have to look through
Yeah.
if I can get the number of his boat and transpose it onto the boat in the picture.
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah, that
I
would be
thought-
good.
that was my thoughts, that it was like what do you call it, Pool Harbour. That's what I thought. First off, I thought, oh, Brownsea, that would be a bit of fun. But I did use some masking fluid. One thing I did, see it down there, I've signed it in masking fluid.
Oh,
I thought, well, once I've done the picture, I could rub it
Yeah.
off. And I'm like,
yeah.
that was one of my genius moments.
Mm.
I'm going to be smart moments. You remember those things about boats? Doing the old figure of eight,
Oh yes, I remember you doing that before.
and then you can add it up. Hang on, let's use a. Yeah, I've got one in the pocket. Yeah, it was if you do the figure of eight, and then add the bits to it afterwards. I always think the back of the boats, they're angular. I think that's one thing to bear in mind. Away you go. I think that I read somewhere ages ago that one thing you should remember, or when trying to paint, when thinking of boats, is try to envisage the bit underneath. It doesn't work on there, but when you in your mind's eye, just bear in mind that there's more under. There's a lot underneath. I thought that was quite a good. But yeah, the old figure of eight does work. Depending on if you're left or right-handed, I think. Can you change it? Yeah, you can. There you go. They always look a bit angular. That's it then. That's today sorted. We got a little. You get some nice quirky boats doing that. Just sort of remind that. What I was going to do, Seth, was maybe to give that sense of perspectives. I need to find my. I did draw this out on a piece of grocery. The handy bit about it is you can turn it over, so I get a rough idea of what the boat looks like going the other way. Why not? And I want it to go up above the horizon, don't I? Yeah. Pointy bit, square bit. No, that's further back. Do the front. And the reason I'm doing this. Let's go down a bit, doesn't it? We'll get away with that. How do you do masking fluid?
With difficulty.
Yeah. Well, what I do, I used, I bought one of, where's it gone? I didn't throw it away. I bought one of these things, and it's, you unscrew the top and it's got a needle in it. Oh, something like that. And then the needle was supposed, yeah, the needle's in here. There's a needle in there, or that goes into that little tube, and the idea is you can get a really nice fine blob of masking fluid, but it didn't work for me. Every time I was trying to use, I did it yesterday, and it came out as a it's a huge blob. But what I tend to do, I can find a piece. Hang on. Well, it's somewhere because I was using it yesterday. There you are. So I've got, you know, you always in the bathroom, you always end up with a little bit of soap left. I tend to just keep the odd bit. If you squish your brush in clean water and just put it through your hands. I wouldn't use your best brush, but I've got this old brush from somewhere that's just goat hair, I think. So what I tend to do is just put soap through it on the brush. Don't need to wash it off. And then I use what I did with the masking fluid that was in here, which is, I don't know what brand it is, but it was the same color as the stuff that comes in the Pixabay tube. Then if you just whip the lid off, you can dip your brush in it and just paint over the area that you want. This brush has got a little, nothing flash, but it has got a little bit of a pointy end on it. But just leave it. Hopefully I won't. Might want to go up a bit on it. That's that done then. What I was doing, problem with it, I want to mention the word problem. The difficulty I've got, I'm using Arsh's hot press paper, which is dead smooth, and I noticed that and I did it yesterday. Once I put the masking fluid on, I thought, oh, there's a big blob of it over here. One thing or another out of the pen. So I waited for it to dry and then rubbed it all off, and it wouldn't come off. It didn't come off very well at all. Still traces of what I used down there. Even using a rubber, it wouldn't come off. Oh, by the way, when you just wash that out afterwards, I've got a bucket here, but the soap stops it from sticking to the brush. It just sort of works. And got my brushes back to where it glorious was. This is one of those, yeah. It's a sea white number 6. Goodness knows what. Goat, I expect. I might be not a clue. It's designed for acrylic, and hopefully that'll dry off. One of the things I was toying with this morning was this subject. I want to pick out the light foliage. So I was toying with the idea. Why didn't I do that? I thought, why have I got a watercolor pencil that mimics that sort of color, just to set the scene? I don't think I have. Oh, hang on. You always get strange ones in the tube, in the box. So many colours, you don't know where to go. They could do. Just a thought. Establish some. Nah, it's not my scene. It's all about the highlights, isn't it? I think I'm better off doing it like I normally do at the end of the picture. At the beginning, just let it go. Just waiting for that to dry, really. Shall I blow it? How dry it? Hang on. You need a bit of heat, don't you, to dry them off? How'd you get a nice, that's dry, I think. It's got a bit of tack to it. How'd you get a nice, nice bit of yellow? With the colours that I've got, goodness knows. Well, I'm going to start with some golden. I know why I'm feeling laissez-faire. I watched there was a program on BBC Two, I think it was Turner. Paint, you know, the artist painting his watercolors. After watching that, I thought, what's the point? Why do I bother? Not very yellow, is it? So, fan brush, dip it in. You can use a different yellow. If you've got a lemon yellow, I'd go for that. I just want to add some interest. Look at that. I put my palette straight over the reference. Don't think it matters really. Yeah, I was watching that program. J.W. Turner or whatever his name. Just makes you how he painted the sunlight. It's the whole. It's just phenomenal. Things he used to do, experiments and that. Just trying to get different. I like the story that they always used to go to the summer exhibition at Royal Academy and that. And one year he was they were next to Constable, and Constable was a pretty good oil painter, and he looked at his mundane painting and thought, cool. So he had got a bit of red and put a thumbnail, a blob of red in his picture, and they were all like, "What?" And walked off. What's he done that? Well, you know, it's even worse now. And then he came back later on with and turned it into a buoy in the river, you know, a mooring buoy. Turned the whole picture into something amazing. That shut him up. This is just that yellow. I'm just going to blob it in. Push it in. I'm not going to go for a sky. But to say, after watching what he was up to, Absolutely incredible. Ah, yep. Gonna just put a few streaks of that colour in the water as well. Just using the fan brush. There you go. It's early lunch. Yeah, really nice, but temporary. You don't get it. It's not going to be. One of the things I did yesterday, did I mention it? I signed it. I didn't
Yeah.
say.
Mm.
Signed it down there. So don't, if you see me rubbing there, shout. Don't do it.
Mm.
I'll just give that as with the hairdryer. That's twice I've used the hairdryer. That's more than I have for ages. Right, I'm just going to have a look. No, I'm not. I've got a wicked plan here, am I? One of the things I learned was watching last night with Mr. Turner was one of the things he did was he'd mix up a colour and then use various strengths of it. Sounds, well, that's what we all do, but it's just the way that back then they didn't. Nobody thought of it. You know, you can mix up that colour, and if a different strength of it with more water diluted or whatever, it makes it lighter. Different. Well, it appears like a different colour, different tonal value. Where's my big brush? Come on, then. Oh, not many people have got a brush like this. Well, if you want to put water evenly on a piece of paper, use the boy. How many 3-inch. I was going to spray it, but I thought I'd be a bit more subtle. Try and think up different variations of strength. Definitely not going to get the I've got my fan brush. And try and mix up some real colour. Got a blend of green. I have got some greens in here, so as we all know. Don't ask me what they are. On their own, they look stark, but add a little bit of raw sienna.
Doing a very serious lesson today.
I've set the scene, so now I've got to try and think up some foliage. Come on. This is therapy. if you want to sit down and paint every tree, have fun with that. I think what I'm trying to do is paint them in the vertical, thinking vertical, not horizontal. Normally we do trees, you sort of go in a sort of fan action with a brush, but I think this time I'm going to start, see how it goes. More varying the green and the raw sienna, even add some of that yellow. Pick them out, see if we can pick out some of these shapes. I like the thought of not making it too precise. I want to find the shapes in there. Think contemporary, yeah? Wash my brush off, change the colour. That Indian gold is definitely not my favourite yellow. But where I've put the background, wash on first, it's given me a little bit of scope. Now then, bit of my lovely red, rose madder, and add some green into it. See if I can get a nice dark colour to drop in. Even darker, really, shouldn't I? Let's add a little bit of blue. See if I can get it much darker. Not too much red. The right colour, just a matter of getting the right, putting it in the right spot, in the right place. Happy Basil? Yes, dear. It's where you got to gonna put this in now. Just to point me in the right direction in a minute. Yeah, I found another free reference picture site on Facebook, of all places. And some of the photos on there are cool. Okay, we've got enough resources on there to last forever. Need to get a dry brush on here in a minute. Nice effects coming there. I think I've got some lemon yellow in this box of St. Petersburg paints. That I can utilise. These lower ground trees. See how strong that Indian gold is, though, even though I'm putting lemon yellow on it, which is like a gouache type colour. It's not even touching it. It's not going to move. Those white caps. I thought I'd put some in there. Is it going to fly? It's okay. Hopefully the masking fluid will work. Put that back up there. And on one of these brushes, I've got I'm using hot press paper here, so I'm not sure if scraping it's a good idea. What I want, the effect I want is a bit thicker than that. Let's try a and then we can get it through the really thick stuff. And there's branches at the top, aren't there, as well? So stick a few bits in. Still got my trusty. This is trusty fan brush in one hand. What I might do, the brush, well, I will do, but if I can find the brush that I used for the masking fluid. I tend to put it to one side because I don't like, but this brush being a rogue brush that I don't mind smashing up, you can bash the end of it, get some of your really dark mix that it just did. Careful, too much red. Smash it up. So I don't want too much paint on it, but enough. Now I can spend the next 3 days putting bits of dark on the picture. Push it. Amazing. This paper is still wet. It hasn't absorbed too much paint, too much water at all. Push it up. I think I'm better off with the fan brush. I thought I could use the little if the little fine bits would help intimate that there are lots of little branches, but it broke, so I'm not going to fix it. I think fan brush does a better job. Help me if you can. Yep. Oh, dear. I know Terry Harrison's got brushes that are stipplers. Not everyone's got them, but you can. I think the idea is that you can do the, you know, up and down stippling with your really dark. If you do it selectively, you can get some nice foliage effects. All I've tried to do is get this front bit looking separate from the top bit, so there's something's going on in behind rather than that's off. Just fanning it up and down, trying to diffuse the paint a little bit, the dark colours, just where it meets there. You might find I won't do it, but you might find that it'd be nice to turn the picture around the upside down and blend the real darks in here where it meets it, so that they fall backwards, you know, away from the front. Is that what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh, clear as mud, I don't know. The only thing that's annoying me is this bit here. It should be. Just think trees, I suppose.
Excuse me, speaking
I mean, after watching Turner last night, the temptation is to dip the whole thing in a bucket of water and see what happens. So you get all that. That's how you used to get all those diffused sort of textures, images. You do so much and then stick it in different coloured paints. Almost like a craft session, isn't it? This brush, if you've got something like this, makeup brush might do it. If you've got a stiff one, you can just, you'll know when the paper gets to a certain, well, when it's dried to a certain point, and you go up and down like that, and it'll leave, well, it look like leaves. It'll, you know, it'll stipple it. It's just a hint of the paint underneath lifting off the dots. Excuse me. You might find it, because it's damp, it works quite well with a dry brush. Look, there's no paint on here at all now. I've just whipped it off on here. Well, it might be a little bit, but it's very, very little. This is, remember Terry used to spend quite a bit of time doing that sort of thing. And it's, you just keep going until you feel there's enough. I think it works better doing it while you're at it. By that I mean, don't let it come back 3 days later and think you're going to add some on. You might need to sort of hydrate the paper a bit That's quite nice. So I'm quite pleased with that. Quite a nice effect. And obviously, if you that way inclined, and you want to do some more work, you can get a fine rigger or a rigger. All my riggers are fine. I love them all. And obviously some of the, careful how much paint you put on there. You can put in some horizontals. Oh, I like that. Awesome. Just going to put in a few dark bits here. It's one of those pictures, isn't it? Doing it this way, as it dries, you suddenly start seeing different shapes and different patterns evolve into. This picture actually just came to my mind. We did Fountain Abbey a while back, and this that had lots of foliage in it, loads of background trees and that. And it reminds me of this. But as it's drying back, I can sort of see loads of potential areas to just stick. Yeah. If you define, if you see a shape, you think, oh, that looks like a tree trunk or a branch, just wiggle it in. Quite pleased with that. Are we still on for an early lunch? Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't want to overwork it because, well, in my mind's eye, it's the stuff that you don't put in that makes it more fascinating. Oh, that looks like a tree there. That funny, that bit there that I touched a minute ago. It's now niggling me. Oh dear. You always get better passages than others. But with our watercolors, we can use a little bit of. See, I haven't put them in, but I'm looking at this area here, and I can see branches on that tree. And if I use the rigger, I can just, as it's drying, I can sense a little branch on it or a little twig, because they're all those sort of pine things, aren't they? Yeah, I love that. But this brush is quite good. Dear Stippler, he's called it. Terry Harrison. But if I hadn't found that, I would have used something else that was similar. You could even use, there's another one there, a flat brush. But I think they're made of goat hair, which is one of the things I'm going to order from Rosemary and Co. Over, blimey, I just looked on the screen. It doesn't look too bad, does it?
Good.
I'm always tempted to quit while I'm ahead here. And I quite like, sounds a bit strange, I quite like the fact that the water's running uphill at the moment. So there's no particular reason for that. But I'm going to straighten it off with a flat brush. What do you reckon on the watercolor then, Carol? Any plans? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Any tips?
No.
Oh, please help. If I say that, it usually means I ain't got a clue what I'm going to do next. So, in the absence of your leadership, I'm going to add some burnt sienna. Oh no, a light. I don't know. That looks like it's sort of burnt sienna, but it's not. There's a little bit of permanent rose, Algerian crimson, or whatever that colour is down there. I'm going to add that into it as well, just to make it a little bit redder, warmer. And into that, and the other, well, I'm not into it. I'm going to, in the other thing, I've got this cobalt turquoise. So I'm going to stick a blob of that over there. And I'm just going to see what happens when I add one to t'other. So there's the mix I get. So just by that had some cobalt on it. So there's the color I'm going to get, which is a sort of a interesting bluey doodah, watery color. So now I'm going to use this brush,
Grey blue.
clean water, and
The trees look nice actually. Don't
because right from the get-go I put that very light wash of, well, I used the yellow that I used on those foliage trees
they? People that say
using the fan brush. So
The get-go.
kind of hoping that I'll keep a little bit of
He says it.
trendy.
Oh.
Haters.
those lines will stay underneath.
How do you do?
Might need to blend this up actually.
Silver.
So what I'm trying to get is a sort of
Silver.
watery grey colour.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm not being lucky here.
It's cakes. This cake's better when it's dried out.
Just use my fan brush,
I thought it was a bit
scoop
pale.
it across.
Usually it's nice.
Bear in mind
I thought they've cheapened it somehow.
that I've got to make that bit down there a little bit darker.
Indicated.
Yeah.
Bit of green. These trees are green, aren't they? I think the main tip is not to, hence the reason I've got this limited palette, but if you any colour that you use like up here, and it isn't going to hurt if you use it down here, because it's all part of the overall balance, colour dynamic, colour blend, which is why it's such a nice thing. That's why I was and ahhing when I said right at the start, well, I've got these St. Petersburg, that's got loads of different greens, loads of different shades. And then I thought, well, if you do that, you'll end up with a mishmash. You know, too many options. I think having a limited palette with just a few colours on, although it can be sort of restricted. I better put some water on that boat. This boat over here, otherwise it's going to be in dry land, isn't it? Well, it could be on the beach, couldn't it? I'm going to let that dry off a bit. Or maybe get my rigger and mix up a little special darker version of it. So it's just burnt sienna and a blue. I've used the cobalt turquoise colour. Why? Because it was there. And it caught my eye. No other reason. But you could use the cobalt and the burnt sienna. But I think the nice thing is just to have the burnt sienna in the mix at the start. It's not soaky wet. I didn't go with the big brush like I did there. It was just the flat 1-inch brush. So I'm fairly confident that the paper is going to settle down as I paint on it now. Just using the rigger to add a few darker areas, especially right there, because the boats should make a shadow, shouldn't it, of some description, and trail where it's sort of waddling along. This isn't a paint my photo reference image anyway. Paint my photo. It's from, might have been Pixabay. Joyce told me about that one. Pixabay. Need to be a bit darker at the front. So let's add a bit of this here. Burnt sienna. That was red and green I was using up here in this foliage. So if I add a little bit of blue to it, it'll be darker, but it's still of same sort of tonal feel to it, to the stuff I used up there. Just gonna just randomly stick some rigger doodles, because if it was a not finish or a rough finish paper, then I could just use the ups and downs of the paper to create the feeling of the speckledy water bits, but I can't do that with this. It's pretty obvious they're not there. I'm waiting. I'm going to say I'm kind of stalling because I want the paper. I'm waiting the paper. I'm wanting the paper to dry even more. I think I should be able to level that up a bit by just using a bit of that dark where the background meets the water. Interesting. Bit digital art, Joyce. Smooth it with yeah, it's dead smooth, so it's really difficult to get that speckledy effect that you get with a not finished paper. That's not looking too bad. Hard bit's coming up now, isn't it? Dry it off and then take the masking fluid off and half the paper with it. Yeah, put a bit on there as well and dry it off. Bit underneath. Yeah, this bit you have to be a bit sort of patient with because the paper is drying as you do it now. Bit masking fluid probably. It's drying as you work it, so you're sort of conscious that you want to get it. It will dry to a point where it will achieve something interesting. By that I mean, if you're using, I think that's that rigger brush, that brush I see, like the one I was using for the masking fluid. It'll get to a point where it will dry to a point where you can use the brush on its side, something like that. So you hold it on its side, and then just go a dry, sort of no water involved, just dry paint, and just go like that, and you get some ripples. But you have to get it to that point where it's sort of almost there. It's dry but not dry. it's dried off. I'm trying putting them. If I try holding the brush like that, it's really difficult to get the angle to get it. Not too bad. Can always come back to it later. Wiggly squat. With the effort there. Quite like it. Lovely. Alternatively, we've got this stippler brush from earlier. Well, I'm assuming that it will work on water as well. But not the same, is it? No. Oh, nice, smooth, calm day on the lake with my boat. Right, hairdryer. Dry all the masking fluid. Big opportunity now, of course. It's why I mentioned it right ages ago. Was where do we put our blob of red? Amazing, isn't it? Every time you do a picture, there's always a connection. Arises. Oh! Oy, 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 oy. That's English for, oh, flip me, that was odd. I thought it's the old thing, isn't it? If you use the hairdryer, same, you know, the heat and the on the masking fluid will help you get rid of it. Yeah, all right. And same there. Right, let's have a
lady and some yellow fuzz.
just for a minute. Have a look at my watercolor pencils. Look for a dark one. What colour that is? Don't know. Should say on it, shouldn't it? What colour it is? Usually I pick up aubergine, don't I? Very often. This one doesn't say. It's got a number on it. The only reason I picked it up is I wanted to put a. I've got a little ruler here. Thinking sticking a line down here. Just a thought. Let's go back a bit. A nice dark line. And hopefully I can lift some of that paint out. If not, hopefully clean tissue, clean water. Lift a bit of this now. Gives me a good excuse to play with my my new white pen, my new chalk pen. No, the masking fluid didn't do its job, did it? Well, not as good as I thought it would. got a really stiff brush here somewhere. It's what you need. Is a sort of really fine, stiff brush. But it's this point in time when you find out how staining your colours are. I don't know. Get too bogged down with it. A bit masking fluid there. Well, love it. Get some. I'm still going to stick with the colours that I've used in the rest of the picture. They've all. God, how hot is it in here? It's all dry. Right. Fascinating. Now I've got to find the boat. Definitely got a. Don't need that. Just a little hint of blue in the grey. Put a line of paint, clean water, or dirty dull water, and then spread it down. If it will go, which it won't. Clean water, and do it the other way around if it's going to be awkward. I think the cobalt turquoise, it's quite a nice subtle colour to add a little bit of depth to the grey. The base, I said that needs to be dark, didn't I? There's like a little divot there. It looks like the boat cutting through the water. It's just like a little. I'm going to leave that. Just there. It's like a little spot where it's like the boat's cut into the water. I think we'll leave that as a happy accident. This boat's got a rudder. I don't know if anyone noticed. My mind is thinking burnt umber and blue. Let's get that bigger brush a minute. I think that's a bit wild, Dave. I've only used 4 or 5 brushes. Burnt umber and blue. Burnt umber and a tad of blue. What I'm trying to do is mix up the nearest I ever get to black. So he goes and sticks a bit of red in it. What an idiot. I've got a limited palette, but I still miss the ones that I want and get the one next to it. No one's infallible. These new glasses ain't working. Just wanted to put a little bit of extra dark on there. Right, and this is a little bit of, amazing how much that little bit of green, dirty burnt sienna and turquoise blue, that much I've used it. Put it all over the water, but I'm still using it now as a shadow tone for bits on the boat. got a nice feel to it. There's a really, I don't what you see. Well, try to. Something going on here. Bit of a little dark on it. Yeah, that'll do. Bit more of that grey at the front. Oh, Mamma Mia. That's a shame, because he needs more water there. Really. My masking fluid was too good, wasn't it? Well, it sort of was. So, the cabin of this boat goes right up there, or the other side of it. What's going on? Bit of yellow. Take the edge off it. So front of it. Got his bum down a bit there. It's quite strong. Could be standing up, couldn't he? A little bit. Look at that edge. A bit more. Put that in there for what I remember. It's got like a tiller. You call it a stick there. It's the tiller, isn't it? What happens if you put mix rose madder with Indian gold green, yellow? Do you get an orangey colour? Not on your line.
You can mix it all in better.
You can't
I'll have to watch it.
get an interesting colour there.
But they're putting it through a spaghetti machine.
I doubt it.
That'll do.
I don't know.
Where's that?
What colour head does he have?
I think they want to
Burnt sienna? That's burnt umber. Burnt sienna.
It's looking quite nice, isn't it?
It's a dab of
Yeah.
burnt sienna on there, on his head.
I like the background.
And he's got an arm.
The trees
And,
look very well.
Yeah. You want to put some shadow on
Okay.
one side of that jacket, whatever it is.
Right when I do it.
And there's a sort of a boy thing, a bit more of that turquoise
Hmm?
Gotta get it wet. haven't
on the side of the boat,
Yeah.
perhaps.
It's known where to put the colours on.
Yeah, that do.
But yeah, very good.
Right. Should be drying off nicely.
And the water looks good. Like you said, mixing the colour into it, so you got the green.
Dab, dab, dab. Find some more rivery type things.
Elaine
Go up,
said
down,
thank you for
up,
a
down
bit.
with the
I
brush.
look forward to see you tomorrow.
Hopefully I can find a few
Thanks for her other daughters.
squishy washies. Lovely jubbly. What do I do with that pencil I had? There it is. And my ruler. Grandad's ruler. It's not only his tucker I pinch, I've got his ruler as well. Actually, I don't think I did. I think he gave it to me. Or it was in Melanie's pencil case from school or something like that. It's just a watercolour pencil, dark one. So I'm hoping that I can get a sort of a masked feel to it. If you go up there, I'll smudge everything. Put a double line on. bit wider. Surprising how wide those boat masts are. That's what's dead straight. It's across there. Down. Hit me with my ruler. Yeah, it's coming out. I've got another boat to worry about over here, haven't I? This one's in the distance, so. Remember, I turned it round the other way. He's got an orange thing in it as well. Wanted an early lunch, didn't we? Oh dear. Some lettering on there. I think. Yeah. Real darks. Get some more of that dark. My darks aren't as dark as they usually are. Let's get some more burnt umber and blue. See if I can add a little bit of. Don't know what's happening today. Maybe it's my eyesight's gone. Just feels like it's darker. It's not that. I wanted that boat going in the picture, not out of it. This old Bernard told me years ago, don't have things going out of the picture and don't have broken things in pictures. So I said before, I painted a smashed up boat at Avon Beach. He said people won't buy that. They don't like broken things. You can have broken things as part of a picture, but not as the main subject. Never. Irony is, I never did sell that picture. So I've always listened to that ever since. Got these stays here in the sail. Lovely jubbly. What should we call it? Harvey. I love it. As these, well, these bits here are where the masking fluid from yesterday didn't come off, but as sails aren't perfect. They always have things on them, don't they? So I can use them as things. Now I need a couple of ropes coming in. And this one's got to come right the way down. Follow my pencil line, watercolor pencil line. Try not to stick my hand in wet paint. I've got a bit darker colour now, so I can add it on. As I say, we don't want photographic detail, do we? Or do we? If you do, you come to the wrong place. Now, if I remember rightly, this sail had a couple of lines coming down. Right, this one needs a bit of a dark line on it. And I'll put a dark line there. Wow. How good's that? Just a little bit more. Now, well, get pedantic, can't we? Play with these things all we like. What I was going to do was try it. Let's have a look at this. Oh, yes, no, misses. Does it work though? Trouble when you buy things off eBay, they don't always work. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, hang on, spoke to see. Keep going. Ooh, what's going to happen here then? Goodness knows. I'm going to turn the board to its side for a minute. I've got this. Chalk pen. Just go up through. Oi, not too close. Thought I could take the edge off of it. This one's not as much finer line than the one I had before. But they're never perfect, are they? These oh, well, maybe paint will work better. Something like that. Wondering whether I could use it to put any highlights on the water. Just dab it, maybe. No, nothing special, is it? It's quite nice having something like this in your house. Gives you power. Over, you feel like an oil painter because you can add that's what you do in acrylics and acrylics as well. Add some white in at the end to put all highlights on your picture. So you've joined the ranks of the literati. Yeah, right. There you go, early lunch. I don't think there's anything I forgot. Oh, cut a new mate the other day. Roughly these size for these things. Just wanted, nice and clean, no paint over it or anything. There you go. Tells a story. And you get an early lunch. One thing
Good, yeah.
I reckon that's really nice.
Good.
See what it looks like. Need to zoom out, don't I? Yeah. See that? What I will do, see if my experiment has worked. I'll put them in red. I'll rub out the masking fluid. Did it work? Well, not really.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's still damp. That paper is damper than I thought. Never mind. We can always add a little bit of extra green there, I suppose. There you go. We'll paint over it later. Well, sign it again with the white pen later. This one will do that quite well, won't it? When it's dry. Right, over to you guys. Everyone raring to go, I can see.
Oh, dear.
Well, I knew I sort of in my water, I thought these sort of things, they look, you think they're relatively easy and simple, but it's quite taxing really once you get. But I think what I did at the start mixed up a sort of weak, that sort of, I used that horrible golden yellow colour and mixed, can't remember what I mixed in with it now. I have to look at my own video, but some of the blue perhaps, and got a very weak sort of greeny colour, and then washed it all over the top, and then dropped all the other dark greens. I kept mixing up different, adding little bits to the base green and dropping them in, trying to get different things. And the lemon yellow at the front, try and give that some sort of meaning. Quite like that. I don't think I've got the right. Is it more like it?
You gotta do some pictures.
Bit more. Bit brighter. Ta-da! Yeah.
Very dramatic.
Oh, I forgot to say something I bought. I did buy something. Might be an idea if you're interested. If you're fast. Oh, whatever. Spit it out, boy. If you're into it. If you'd like. I bought one of these. Take this off, otherwise I don't want to make it smudge it. I bought one of these. I'll go out a bit. There you go. I got this. It's a clear presentation display book. This one's got 40 pockets. So what I've done is all the paintings, as I've done them, well, the ones that were out on the side, I've put them all in here. So there is one exception, is this one, because I've painted that on the back of that was Ralph when I was doing that. But I thought it was a neat way of doing it.
Where did you get that from? Amazon?
No, it wasn't Amazon. I'll send you a link. June Brown. Oh, Mrs. No. Even that one looks nice in a thing like that with the gloss on it. I like that. It's got an interest in it. Might have a little play with that. Got me elephants, Grandad's garden, that funny horse thing. Scotland. Never could have done better with that. But yeah.
Do it in A4 as well.
Pardon?
Do they do an A4 one?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Loads of different, they do A4s. But this I wanted A3 because it's I always cut the full out sheet of paper into sort of quarto size. Which, you know, one big sheet and cut it into half and then half again. Seems to work quite well. Dries that chalk stuff. When it dries, I'm pretty sure if you, well, I know, well, you can freeze it or not, but if you use clean water on it, you can blend it, you know, even when it's dry. Next day it'll rehydrate. You're supposed to. Or do you have to use washing up liquid? Yeah, it does move. It's just squished over there. So yeah, you can sort of blend it to get a nice smooth finish. Quite like that. And it's also, it adds an extra element to your picture because you can blend it and then while it's that and blend soft colours into it. So if you want to add a like a, maybe at the front, add a shadow, you can just stick a little bit of paint in. Stronger than I thought. Say that much. Yeah. And sort of add subtle shadows to your picture. Even a watercolor pencil, you could do it. Just sort of got a pencil. That's a dark color, but you just put a couple of lines on, then with a clear brush, soften it out, and you'll get those sort of gentle shadows that you sometimes get in these different areas. But you can play with it for hours, can't you? Oh, I'm really pleased with that. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Inspired me.
I've got to make the decision again now. Acrylics or pastels?
You could do one of each.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. Yeah, sweet.
I often change my microphone. I often think about that while I'm painting, while I'm doing mine. I often think, I wonder what Chrissy's going to do here. Or, yeah. But with this hot press smooth paper, you get to appreciate why not finish and rough finish was invented, because you get so much extra things that you can do. Like I was just thinking then, well, when that dries, like I normally do, very often do, when it's bone dry, I'll get me scalpel or a really sharp blade and just add some sparkly bits on the water. Well, you can do that quite easily in with a not finished paper. It will take, you know, you can just take the edge off and leave some highlights really bright. But with this dead smooth, you do it, you'll get a hole in it if you're not careful. It's too sensitive. It's just but that was a piece of Arsh's paper that I used for portraits that was I found when I was putting all those pictures in that clear film book. I'm quite pleased with that. And it's not such an early lunch as I promised. Oh dear, and next week's really hard.
Oh dear.
I think we're going to have to really be Turner tomorrow, now next week,
Oh dear.
and get some of that diffuse building sort of technique going. Dear, oh dear. Remove the spotlight. Gordon's gone quiet, so he's pontificating somehow.
Yes, I'm trying to work it out, Dave. Yeah.
Is
I have a
that-
go at that one.
It blooming scares me when he goes quiet.
Sorry.
Oh.
He's mulling over all up. Yeah, I'm the same. Wow. Oh, Ocado's been and gone. Bless him. I knew I was going longer than I thought, because Ocado weren't supposed to come till 12, between 12 and 12:30. So they came, and I thought, wow, that early lunch is going out the window.
Will be even longer next week then.
We'll see. We'll see. Well,
Oh,
I think next
yeah.
week is more about. It's a different kind of hardness, but it's more about doing a more precise sketch, perhaps more into the sketch. But if you do a good sketch, then it takes a lot of pressure off you doing the things. You'd be surprised how quick you, okay, it could be a bit paint by numbers, but you could argue it's all paint
That
by
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Painted by numbers.
yeah, it don't work. It's just the same.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We haven't got that many colours. But I think that's a good thing, that sticking with that limited palette does forces you to invent or get over the fact that you haven't got a particular colour, and after a while it does make it easier, because you haven't got nothing, you haven't got another box to go out of, haven't you? You're contained within that cage. But you can add, like I added a bit of lemon yellow. Adding one colour is not so bad, but I think that's good.
We shall see. As always, they'll all turn out different.
Yeah.
I've got some. I think there's some nice ones, nice subjects coming up actually, because that website I found, or that group, they've got some really nice images on there. I like doing that. And also it's handy for promotion as well, because not that I want that many people turning up anyway, but I can post the links, the videos and stuff on there as well. So, but not until I've used one of their pictures. That wouldn't be right. One of the pictures, then you can sort of say, well, thank you for this image, blah 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 blah. Here's us doing it, and here it is in action. Only problem is it's a big site that you could end up with 40 people turning up on a Tuesday morning or something.
Oh gosh.
We'll soon put them in our place.
Yeah.
Sort them out.
Oh.
Dear, oh dear. That was good. That today. It's always the ones that you're most apprehensive about that turn out all right.
Just always breathe.
Maybe we're just getting more confident, more good at it. That's not good English? More good. Better at.
Well, knowing my dislike of green, I think this is going to be quite a challenge for me.
I thought it would look quite nice if you did it like the fall, with all the different oranges and reds in it as well. Would look nice.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, I resisted your advice on putting a sky in it.
There's options.
Yeah, we've got options now, haven't we?
Yeah, well, you could do what I said, put a sky in it, and leave that row of foliage next to the bank as as a line of trees. So that would work. Everyone sees the trouble, isn't it? There's so many varieties and variations.
Well, I suppose it's good if we all do it a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it when they all turn out different.
Yeah.
You can pick up things, I like that, or I'm not sure about that, or different ideas.
And
the fact that you're doing it in watercolour and I'm not is a bit of a problem.
Oh.
the thing that I always look at is the how each one of us gets over the obstacles that we're not very good at, or things
yes.
that you know, how you well, I always say
Hide it,
I
yeah.
disguise it.
Right.
But
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I'll put in a link to that
it's
thing.
beckoning, so I'm off. I like to watch my bargain hunt if it has 12.
All right.
That's true. So do I.
I'm a Steph's packed lunch man, as you know.
Oh dear.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
You too. Yes.
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 So,
See
yeah.
you all next week.
Okay. then.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bless you.
Bye.
If you see me walking down the street, I start to cry. Each time we walk on by, make believe that you don't see the tears. Just let me grieve in private, 'cause each time I see you, I break down and cry. Walk on by, don't stop. Walk on by, don't stop. Walk on by. Well, I just can't get over losing you, and so if I seem broken blue, walk on by. Walk on by. Foolish pride is all that I have left, so let me hide the tears and the sadness you gave me when you said goodbye. Walk on by, don't stop. Walk on by. Just make that bit up. I just can't get over losing you. So if I see broken and blue, walk on by. Walk on by. Foolish pride is all that I have left, so let me hide the tears and the sadness